Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to do is that I want to talk about three, well, I'll call them classic watches, and they also tend to be very expensive watches, and three alternatives. In other words, well, you can't afford this, most of them I can't afford either. And so, what about this one? It's pretty much that. And so, let's get started. Now, the first one that I looked at is a Patek Philippe Calatrava Pilot Time or Pilot Travel Time watch. And this watch, interestingly, when it first came out, a lot of Patek Philippe owners didn't like it because they didn't feel that it was sort of the classy enough, I guess. They was, you know, and uh, it's to me, I always liked it. I used to be a pilot, and so I like pilot watches. And this one had, it's got a second time zone and sort of a skeletonized hand. You can see that it's pointing right at the 8. And it's got a hand date. That's not that important, but it's there. And so what I was looking for is a pilot watch that also has a second time zone. Why is the second time zone important? Because pilots use something called Zulu time, and Zulu time is set to what amounts to Greenwich Mean Time or UTC time. And so, when you call in and when you set up a flight plan, they'll give you a time to take off and so forth. So you do it in Zulu time, and so a second hand is important. That's our second time zone hand. Now, in looking at a lot of different ones, I found one I like. This is called the Laco Frankfurt Swiss Automatic GMT Dual Time Pilot Watch. And it's got an ETA 2893-2. It's a Swiss Laco 93 is the Elaboré Automatic is the name they give it. Now, Elaboré is ETA's second tier watch, second tier movement. They got four grades: standard, Elaboré, top, and then COSC grade. This is the Elaboré grade, and it's got two dials or two crowns on it, one for setting the time and one for setting the GMT time. And it's $1,990. It's just about $2,000. Now the Patek Philippe is $57,000, and so I thought, well, this might be an alternative that somebody wanted a nice pilot's watch. This might be a good one for it. Okay, so that's the first one. Now the second one is a much better known watch, a Rolex Submariner date, and this one as sort of a luxury dive watch. And by luxury dive watch, what I mean is something I suppose you could take it diving, but you probably wouldn't. It's basically a luxury everyday kind of watch, tool watch that is reliable, mechanical. It's all kinds of good things about it. $10,800, but that's not the worst part. The best part, depending on how you look at it. It's a big waiting list usually for this kind of watch, and so it can be hard to get both financially as well as getting your mitts on one. Now, what I saw as an alternative is the Certina DS Action Diver, and it's got an ETA Powermatic 80 in it, Powermatic 80.611. It's by ETA. It's automatic. It's got 80 hours. Now, the official price on this was 920 Swiss francs. Swiss franc is about $1.15. However, in looking at some different prices on this one, I found that the street price in several places was 795 US dollars, and it's available. That's one thing, and it's got the rotating bezel. It's got the date. The date doesn't have the Cyclops side to it, but again, You don't have that kind of money, or you can't get your hands on one, but you like that style of watch. I think this might be the Certina might be a good alternative. Now, the last one was an Adelanga Unsunda 1815. This is a watch I really like. Um, this one is $31,100. It's a lot of money. It's got a caliber L05 1.1. This one I think is 39 millimeters. It's a great size, and it's gold, rose gold, I think is what they call it, and it's a nice dress watch. Now, this was the hardest one to find something that would be you could find a substitute for it, so to speak. The one I found that was anywhere near the kind of watch I was looking for, the 1815, and like a lot of really your top-notch dress watches, is hand wound. One I found that is like it in certain ways is a Mont Blanc Meisterstück Heritage. Why this one? Well, it was real solid gold. That was a big thing. I was looking at Frederick Constant, and they have a lot of gold watches, good looking watches, and they have their own movement, but they're gold plated. I wanted a solid gold one, and you can find a lot of solid gold dress watches when you look at vintage, and they're even fairly affordable. Some good ones, for example, by a Calatrava, for instance, or a Patrimony by Vacheron Constantin. But they're some of them don't have the best care, and of course they're a little more expensive. But this one I found, this was a used thing, and I think if you're going to find a dress watch that doesn't look like junk, and some of the used ones you can bang up gold pretty easily, but this is one that you might want to consider. Anyway, those are three watches. I would very much like to hear what alternatives you would have, and let me hear from you. This is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.